Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review. Today from McFarlane Toys and their DC Multiverse line, we are featuring the Platinum Edition Superman, The Strange Lives of Superman. Alright, so today is June 1st, 2025, and yesterday I was at my local Target and I grabbed this. This, I believe, is a Target exclusive. It's the same figure as this one right here, but whereas this one is the Platinum Edition, this fella here is the standard one. This is The Strange Lives of Superman, and it's a really goofy concept. It's based off of a comic book from 1961. It was the giant-sized Superman Annual number 3, and in that comic book there were 7 different Superman tales. And each story kind of had a different version of Superman. For example, the one with the giant head here that looks like an alien from Star Trek, you know, one of the Telosians. This is the Superman of the future. This one here is Masked Superman, which is self-explanatory. The goofy Superman over here kind of looks like Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine. And then we have the Lion Superman, who is also known as the Lion of Steel. So Target, I had 2 different versions of this figure. They had the blue standard version, which came with the Superman of the future head, the large one. And it also had the Lion of Steel. And then with the lion, you also got the 2 lion paws. And then there was also the human hands. So this figure is amazing. I reviewed this previously, and if you want a very classic vintage style looking Superman, this is the way to go. The head's kind of a throwback to that classic era, and then it even has the shorter cape, much like the older Superman had. And it's a great figure. If you want a really like vintage, classic comic book looking Superman, this is the perfect Superman for you. But moving forward, we're going to take a look at the Platinum Edition version of the figure. And this one comes in a red costume. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think the red costume actually appears in the comic itself. This might be a paint variant. But what they do give you here is they give you 2 different heads. Instead of getting the Future Man, instead of getting the Superman of the future head and the lion head, you're getting the masked Superman, which I think is from the story about the ugly-faced Superman, which explains why he's wearing the bandages. And then it also includes the goofy Superman, which looks like the Alfred E. Newman character from Mad Magazine. Another difference is that with this figure, in addition to getting the 2 closed fists, you're also getting the flying hands. So in some ways, you kind of need both figures to get the complete set of accessories. You know, if you want to make Superman look like he's flying, or if he's, you know, punching away in battle, or even if you just want all the extra heads. It's a great concept. We've seen this done before with some of the Green Lanterns, where some of the deluxe boxed figures of the Green Lanterns would come with, you know, the different heads and whatnot, and you just do the head swaps, and you could create all the different characters. So it's a cool concept, and, you know, like I said, this is a great vintage version of Superman. Okay, so I feel like I'm talking like a million miles an hour. I just got off of work, and I'm just trying to push through my day. So I'll slow down a little bit as we look at this guy here. All right, so on the back of the box, like I stated at the beginning of the video, there's 4 different versions of Superman. There's the Superman of the future, large head. He looks very similar to the Star Trek aliens known as the Telosians. We have the ugly-faced Superman wearing the bandages and the face wraps. We have the Alfred E. Newman one, and then the Lion of Steel. Okay, I'm not like thinking straight right now. It's like I said, it's been a long day, and I've been wanting to do this all day because I don't want to put it off, and I'm like exhausted. So, let's just get this done with, and I'm excited to check this figure out. This is a great figure. I like it a lot. I do have issues, though, with the bendable wire and the cape. So hopefully this one might be a little bit better, because I have a feeling that the wire on mine might be broken at this corner, because I can't get it to go straight like on this side. So again, I believe this is a Target exclusive here in the US. And as usual, we get the trading card. The bio on the back is just very generic. This doesn't really talk about the strange lives of Superman. This is just pretty much normal Superman's bio right here. I kind of feel like, as much as I love McFarlane toys, I kind of feel like they drop the ball on a lot of things. Like, they give you this beautiful trading card with all this artwork, and then, for the average person that's not a diehard comic book fan, they might not realize, what story all these characters are pulled from. And it would have been helpful if they at least explained that here, because you're kind of going into it blind. You don't really know, unless you were reading Superman back in 1961, you're not going to really be familiar with this story. I'm sure the story's maybe a fan favorite with the diehards, but, even for my extensive knowledge of comic books, this was something that I kind of found to be a very deep cut, but a very welcomed one. I think it's great that you get these extra heads. It's a very fun accessory. Again, I apologize if I'm like talking a million miles a minute. I'm like I'm like losing my mind. It's like the end of the day and I'm like kind of amped up. I just want to be done with everything. Alright, so I'm kind of running into that same issue with this cape as I was the other one, and I'll go over that in a little bit. Alright, so like I stated, I'm not sure if Superman actually appears in a red costume in that comic book. The red costume just might be a paint variant for the sake of the figure. Alright, so we have the Strange Lives of Superman. Great looking figure. He stands in at about 7.5 inches. For size comparison, here it is next to the Mortal Kombat Malefic Spawn. And then here it is next to the McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman. We'll do a side-by-side comparison next to the standard version. The one big difference you'll notice is not only the red color scheme on the costume, but for here, the Superman emblems actually has a black contour line, whereas this one does not. You'll also notice that his briefs here kind of has like almost like comic book style rendering, where this is just plain red. But otherwise, you're getting, I believe, identical faces. Or, wait, are you? Or are you not? Okay, you are. For a second, I thought this one had a wider jaw. No, they're the same. They both come with fists. Again, the differences in accessories are the standard version has the Superman of the Future head. And then it comes with the Lion of Steel head. And in addition to the fists, you get the lion paws. The Platinum Edition comes with the masked Superman right there. And then the goofy Superman, which looks very much like Alfred E. Newman from Mad Magazine. And then this one, this is where I think this one's cooler. It comes with the flying hands. I don't think we get enough flying hands with our Superman figures. Often Superman always comes with the fists, but I do like these. If you want to pose them flying, these are the perfect hands to go with. And let's take a look at the articulation. So this figure already won me over the standard release. The articulation's great. The head looks left and right. I kind of wish it could look up higher. It doesn't really have full neck articulation. It just goes about there. Kind of just nods down. The arms, fully articulated. You'll notice the ball-socketed butterfly joint. There's a bicep cut, allowing for swivel movement, double-pinned elbow, articulated wrist, a diaphragm cut, Crunching forward, it doesn't do it as far as I'd like. Get you back into focus. This camera's making me crazy, and the head's rolling away. All right, get back in the. All right, there you go. So it doesn't crunch forward all that much, and it arches back, pretty decent. Swivels at the waist, a little bit tight on my figure. Legs kick up really high, and then I think this guy does full splits. Very mild swivel at the hips right there. Double jointed knees and articulated ankles and toes. So it's a great figure. And the cape, I know a lot of people love the wired capes. I'm not a big fan, to be honest. I don't like the cloth material. I prefer a sculpted plastic cape. And then these capes, especially this one, my issue is that at this corner here, the wire is one piece, which makes posing it a dream. This half of the cape is easy to pose and manipulate, whereas on the opposite corner, there's a break. I had this issue with the other figure. The wire stops here and then starts right there, so it's not connected. So it's kind of, I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's not easy to get this to really cooperate. When I try to bend this down, this wants to move up. So it's not like this side here, since it's connected at the corner. This is very manageable, whereas this one, you kind of have to struggle trying to get it just right. But it's a nice, accessory. We have the Superman emblem on the back, which is something he's sometimes missing. Classic Superman also had a shorter cape. I don't think it was until much later, like maybe in the late 70s or early 70s, when they dropped his cape down a lot more. But it's a great figure. I like this a lot. And let's take a look at the alternate heads. Just give me a moment. I'm dropping everything here. We have the Goofy Superman, which looks like Alfred E. Newman. Or it might be Alfred E. Newman, I don't know. It looks weird. It doesn't really flow with him, but I think that's the charm of this. And then we have the masked Superman. This is a great head accessory, because if you want to create the fictional character, the Invisible Man, just take your John Constantine figure or your Hush figure and just slap this on there, and then boom, you have the Invisible Man, the fictional character, in the trench coat. This is just a cool accessory also, because if you want one of your characters to get the crap kicked out of him and then he's all bandaged up, you can use this. Or if you want to use this as an alternate head for Hush, go for it. But overall, a great figure. If I had to choose one over the other, it's a hard one, because there's things about both of them I like. I like that this one, it's the iconic blue costume, and like I said, it's the perfect vintage looking Superman. If you want a classic looking Superman, this really can't be beat. It's awesome. But at the same time, I like the charm of the red costume, and I do like the flying hands a lot. I do prefer the flying hands over the fists. And then the head accessories, again, it's a toss-up. I really like this goofy lion and the guy with the giant cranium. These look awesome, but at the same time, these are just as cool also. So I couldn't choose if I had to choose between one. I think each one has, their strengths. But if you could afford it, and if you could find both of them, I'd say pull the trigger on both. You won't regret it. You'll have lots of options with the different hands. And of course, the heads, you can easily migrate these onto other characters. For example, if you're trying to build up your Green Lantern core, you can just use these and create new Green Lantern characters. Or if you're really into Chronicles of Narnia and you want to create some sort of lion, barbarian, or knight, this is a great head to have, and just add that's one of your armored, suited Batmans that look like they're from the medieval era. So lots of weird stuff going on, and I'm I'm totally here for it. All right, so I hope this video was watchable. Like I said, I'm losing my mind. I'm talking a million miles a minute, and I don't know. But overall, fun figures. Okay, so let's wrap this one up. It's running long. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.